And right now we've got our guest on the line. We're very happy to feature this guest artist. Sister Tracy, do you want to introduce him?
Yes, absolutely. Guy kind of really needs no introduction if you're familiar with any of the
cool art.
Yes, the cool art from, well, we'll get into all that, the bands, but this is Mr. Raymond Pettibon.
Hi, Ray.
Did I say that right?
Pettibon.
Hello.
Pettibon. Yep. Okay.
So, where are you located at tonight? Where do you reside?
Well, I'm pretty much from LA originally, but I think it's been about 10 years in New York, for better or worse,
Yeah, has it been better or worse for the most part?
Well, the circumstances haven't been great.
Right.
But I love New York, but I'd rather,
be in the sunshine.
Circumstances. Let's just leave it there.
Sure.
Okay,
I get it.
I came to New York at someone else's behest. We married, we're going through a divorce and whatever.
Do you prefer, do you hate the cold weather? Because that's kind of, we are originally from the Midwest, and I just...
oh, yeah?
I absolutely...
Where in the Midwest?
From down in Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard of, if it plays in Peoria, the old vaudeville saying. It's about 3.5 hours south of Chicago, and it just gets so cold in the winter there. And
did they have vaudeville in Peoria?
They sure did at one time before they tore down all the awesome old theaters, like they do. I think there's one left they're trying to save, but yeah, I thought
they say vaudeville's dead, right?
I think
sometimes it crops up in other forms.
Sure, absolutely.
I guess the closest to what's that place in Missouri, Branson, right?
Branson,
yeah.
Yes.
They're trying to hold together, in one square mile, the whole vaudeville. Except it's, vaudeville back in the day. Okay, I wasn't alive, but I know a little bit of the history of it, and it wasn't all vanilla Mormon. Osmond.
Nope. Not at all, man. Can I ask you, as far as your art, what age did you start doing what you do, Ray? Did you start drawing at an early age?
Yeah. There's, to me, there's no demarcation, or you don't have to, as far as age goes, or education, or inclination. Oh, are you still there? Did my
yeah? I was just listening to you.
Okay, sorry. All right. So yeah, it's been a lifelong process. I mean, since I was 3-4 years old, my mother saved my art. I still have it, and I love children's art. So it's, in other words, it's not you become a professional artist because you're schooled in that, right? You go to art school,
right?
Whatever school it is,
Sure.
And well, I didn't go through that path. My degree was in economics, but on the other hand, I was doing art and literature and writing in both. Really since I remember.
Okay, so you're like, it's in your blood. You're like an artist it's deep down in your soul. Being a punk rocker.
No, I'm not that theological or
I just meant
I don't
for
believe in
history.
soul, but
I just meant for history's sake. You've been
soul, bro.
at it a long time.
Well, no, I understand.
I became aware of your stuff as a teenage punk rocker in the Midwest when I was buying SST records and, admiring this cool artwork, as were all the other kids. Like, wow, this guy's awesome. And we all knew whenever we saw your artwork immediately, hey, it's Ray. And so you had this really cool cult following, and there was a handful of folks doing art like that, but yours was really stand out for us. And, it's cool to see that stuff. It identifies with our childhood and our adolescence. And I'd like to know, you're the one that came up with the Black Flags bar, the bar logo, correct?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think it's the second most. Well, I doubt that. Okay, they say aside from the swastika, which was intimately involved with punk rock at some level, unfortunately.
Thanks, Sid Vicious.
Yeah. Well, the bars, whatever you want to call them.
Gotcha.
No, that was just because I was. Well, whatever. Let's go on.
Okay.
How many do you still do artwork for SST and any of the Black Flag stuff that comes out today?
I haven't talked to my brother Greg since 86, 87.
Oh, didn't know that.
He hasn't talked to anyone. He doesn't. He has no community. Like for instance, Henry. Was Henry Rollins. He was.
Yeah.
He came by just within the past days. Just to visit. We don't run into each other that much. He's on the West Coast mostly, and we're not in the same. And good God, what a he was so loyal to Greg and such a hard worker. Okay, if you know Henry, he's like legit, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, and I really don't want to speak on this subject myself either. Okay,
right?
But
sure,
it's like the bull in the china shop. Okay, when paranoia strikes someone, not me. Unfortunately, I've had there's been a couple, people I've been intimate with, or familial circumstances when paranoid. It's really horrible, and it ends there. Okay, 1986 or 7 or whatever. That's a long time ago.
I guess, yeah.
And he doesn't speak. He doesn't speak to any of his ex-bandmates or family,
Sure, we weren't aware of that. Well, let's talk about art. Let's talk about what you're currently.
I'd like to.
I didn't mean to. I'm not on the record about Greg. Okay, you should really. That would be interesting if you interviewed Greg.
I wonder if he would do
Go
it.
for it.
I could try, but I doubt he'd do it.
All right.
What about this, Ray? How about? Do you have any favorite artists, like of all time, that you prefer, that you really like a whole lot?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many. It's
just a couple name, whatever, like if you just have a like 3 or that stick out or something.
Because I do words and image. Okay, so the main ones since I started were still do the same, like Goya, Daumier. That's all evident. Is
Yeah.
When I was 19 years old, I did my first fanzine. Okay, and there's tributes to all of those people. And
what was your fanzine called?
Well, the first one was called Captive Chains, but I did like over 100.
Wow.
Over the years.
I love fanzines. I miss that medium. I know there's some that they're still out there, but
so do I.
Used to be such a crazy, awesome underground trading system, and we were all caught up in that. And I recall seeing your stuff all over the place.
Yeah, but they were really small. What do you call it?
Small circulation, like small print run.
Yeah, they're like 500 copies.
Yeah.
At the most, for 100 or 75 or 50.
Yeah.
And they weren't. They were for sale theoretically. They had a price on them. Okay, but I never was. I'm not a businessman, and they weren't. I just gave them away.
I can relate. It was so much fun though, because the more you gave away, it seemed like the old post office box would be full the next week with stuff people giving you something.
Well, but that wasn't the case with me, because I wasn't. I wasn't involved in that much at all.
Yeah, I was more into the writing to networking and all that good stuff. So I even had a song called My P.O. Box that we recorded one time, just because it was such a habit to go there daily.
Well, I'm so for that.
Totally.
It's just that in my case, I'm not a very social person, or even more so with mail or email, or I have I shouldn't be saying this, but I have a telephone phobia. It's my only phobia. That I inherited from my father.
Those darn.
We're speaking, okay? Let's keep it up.
Thank you, man. Those darn genetics and DNA.
Perhaps, yeah.
I would like to ask you, I don't know what you think about this guy, but I know, for instance, one of my daughters is a big fan of the artist known as Banksy. Do you have any thoughts on that guy and his art?
Well, yeah, from a distance, because I think he's great. What he's managed to accomplish and pull off is pretty amazing. I'm not an expert on the subject, but I think he's great.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Do you happen to do artwork these days, or have you in the past, several years done any? Do you do any artwork for small bands or really independent, local band kind of things, or is it mostly not like that?
No, I do whenever anyone asks. Okay.
Oh, really?
And I don't ask for any compensation. Usually it is, the reason you ask is probably because, a lot of these bands are very small independent labels or, self-label.
Yeah.
So, I've done many. It's not my vocation, but if someone asks.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's super cool. I was talking to Paul Mahern from the Zero Boys recently on this show, and he still likes and enjoys, as does Geza X. Those guys still enjoy playing with and recording the small bands that aren't making any money. They really enjoy doing what they've always done. So I thought I'd ask you that.
Yeah, Geza X. That goes way back.
Yeah, he was on a couple times recently. He's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to L.A.
Yes.
Is he still in L.A.?
He sure is, and so is Mr. Paul Rossler, who we're in touch with a lot.
Paul Rossler, yeah.
You probably know all those.
Great.
Yeah,
Screamers were one of the greatest bands, and Paul is one of the great, really cool people.
Well, he's recorded my stuff before. Boy, he's got such a great technique. He's a really good mixer and recording artist, as well as keyboard player and all that.
Yeah, as a producer.
Yes. Besides the screamers,
What do you play?
I'm a vocalist.
Okay.
So
well, so am I.
I'm a
songwriter.
Well, I think when my next album comes out, I might contact you about maybe work together to get some art from you if possible. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
that'd be an honor. Yeah.
Yeah, we're called Divine
what
Dirt.
I do,
so.
okay. I mean, it's not my day-to-day thing, but if someone asks me here and there, yeah.
And of course we offer compensation, trade, energy for energy, whatever, but we'll talk about that down the road.
I know, but,
the road.
That's not an issue.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's cool that you're into the art first over the commerce. I appreciate that.
Well, it's not, that's how it works out. It's not like an ideology. It's more like a personability or whatever.
Yeah, I understand that.
I just, like I said, I studied economics, but that doesn't make me a businessman, and it doesn't make me like the bottom line. I went into art, okay?
Yeah. You mentioned the Screamers, that you liked the Screamers. Are there any other like famous punk rock bands that you particularly dig?
Well, of course, Black Flag, Zeros. I love the Germs. X. I don't know. I guess punk for me started in. I wasn't old enough to. I never saw. Yeah, I saw Iggy Pop later. Okay.
Wow! Talk about.
I saw him with David Bowie or whatever. But
wow.
not the Stooges.
Yeah,
the Stooges later,
But you saw them with David Bowie on keyboards, correct? With Iggy?
Yeah, but that wasn't the same thing as the early Stooges.
No.
And MC5, and then I guess for me it started with Patti Smith, and then like 75, 76 would be whatever, like the early LA,
like the
and also New York, like CBGBs. The Ramones, of course, were like to me they were like a revelation. They were like God,
Dead Boys too.
And Dead Boys were good, yeah. Sid Bader's, yeah.
Yeah, we've had Cheetah.
I saw them, yeah.
Cheetah Crumb's been on the show a few times. We really enjoy that New York City and the early LA stuff a lot too.
Yeah. There was it's not like they were there's influence on both sides, and
for sure, and
for that matter across the continent.
The UK. So Ray, what do you got going on as far as right now? What's happening now or in the future for you as far as artistically?
Well, I don't know, just here and there. My next show is going to be in LA, actually, okay? In possibly June if I can get it together.
Nice.
We'll see. And, yeah, I mean, I've been kind of in the doldrums last few years.
Well,
but, I'm still working.
I hope you're pulling out of it, my brother. I hope you are. I can understand that. I've been in some doldrums myself, so I understand that. And I hope you're lifting up out of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
Thanks for being on the show too. I know you're not a big social guy like you said, and I was surprised that you accepted the invitation to come on the show tonight. So we're not much of a talk show, but we'd like to do 15, 20 minutes a week to somebody we kind of look up to in the art or music world, and I really appreciate having the opportunity to have you on and just chat with you for a few minutes.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah,
it's been nice, and I appreciate the interest.
Yeah, and if you do that showing in LA in June, we'll try to fly out and check that out. We'd love to do that.
Absolutely.
All right, and get back to me with your band if you like,
Oh boy, you bet. That would be an honor.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. We really do appreciate you, taking the time to talk to us tonight, and hope to reconnect in the near future.
Great. That'd be nice. Okay.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
Take care. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. There we have it, my friends. The legendary Raymond Pettibon.